If you were to ask me who my favorite superhero is, I would respond with Best Jeanist, to which you would probably give a confused stare. Though I'm not sure he's actually my most favorite, and this video has nothing to do with that denim-clad hero, but rather an almost equally straight-laced hero, my boy Steve Rogers, who is, of course, Captain America. Because the theme of this drawing is based on my favorite superhero movie, The Winter Soldier. Wow, I can't believe that film is 11 years old now. Well, with that, I'll welcome you lovely people to my art channel, Laurel and Artistry. We're gonna zoom out a bit and draw an ominous looking Nick Fury in the background. Got my sketching done, now to clean up the outline on Cap. I was kind of a casual MCU fan, always having been fond of superheroes, until The Winter Soldier came out. After that, I was all in. So, between that film's release in 2014 and Endgame in 2019 was just a really fun time. These films were these grand events that everyone participated in together. I miss that. Time to color Steve in. I drew him in a stealth suit, so it's darker with more muted colors. Although I still give him his bright red, white, and blue shield. I think it's fun to watch the colors all come together as I'm drawing. I add in some stark black shadow on the right side of his body. The shadowy vibe is fitting for the spy movie style of the film. I admit I kinda thought Captain America was super cheesy, so I didn't go into the film expecting much. So, I guess after watching it, it made me rethink my perception of him. I think one key is that the film wasn't afraid to be serious and sincere. Now I add in some highlights and a bit more shading. Since watching The Winter Soldier, Steve Rogers has become a favorite of mine. He's stubborn, but most often in a good way. He won't compromise on what he believes is right. He stands up and keeps fighting, no matter the odds. Even when he was a small, powerless, sickly young man, his resolve was no less strong to stand up to those who would bully and oppress. Even though he usually had to be rescued by his good friend James Barnes, or Bucky as he's called. Of course he's called Bucky because his middle name is Buchanan, but I'm still not sure why they named him after James Buchanan. Seems like an odd president to be named after. Time to color in Nick Fury. We're gonna make him silhouetted, erasing a spot for his eye patch and a few other outlines. And gonna work on the rest of the background. Kinda want it to have creepy propaganda poster vibes. And then I'll draw a shadow for Cap in the form of the shield logo. Lower the opacity on the shadow. Do some adjustments on the background. And now to work on the other side. Over here, I'll draw the Winter Soldier, the super soldier assassin Hydra has been using as a weapon, who turns out to be Steve's best friend since childhood, Bucky Barnes. Even if he's the antagonist in this one, I do think it's his best look in any of the films. Honestly, I think he's pretty much got the coolest character design in the whole MCU here. The metal arm is definitely a part of it, but the mask he wears, the dark eye paint, that style of leather jacket, the hair length, he's definitely a fun character to draw. In the background here, I draw Alexander Pierce, the main antagonist of the film. And now to outline and color Bucky in the same way that I drew Steve. Bucky is actually my favorite character in the MCU, but I wish we'd be able to explore the character and his mind a bit more following this film. The films he's in after just never have enough time for that. I think they tried to do that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it kind of felt like an afterthought, and I didn't think it was that well done. I guess they could do more in the upcoming Thunderbolts movie, but I don't have the highest hopes for that at this point. We'll see. I don't know, to me it's just a shame because Bucky is an interesting character. He was Steve's only real friend growing up. Bucky was everything Steve wasn't at that point. popular, athletic, strong, charming, and yet he was humble enough to reach out to Steve. He noticed Steve and chose to befriend him when no one else would. He was there for Steve when he had nothing and no one else. I'd say he's no less honorable and heroic than Steve is. But then he was captured and experimented on and ultimately used as a mindless weapon with no will of his own. And yet afterwards he has to remember it all. There's so much to explore about guilt and redemption and how all this stuff messed with his mind. I feel like this character has so much unused potential for a good story around him. But it probably won't happen at this point. Either way, Sebastian Stan plays the character wonderfully, and especially in this film, where he has so few lines, but he's able to communicate so much through his expressions. The look he has in his eyes in that scene where Steve's like, "I'm with you till the end of the line." Oh, it's so... wow. Well anyways, time to color in Pierce. He kinda looks like he's got the glowing anime glasses thing going on. Makes him look more evil. Paint in the rest of the background. Lighten up his glasses again so that they don't look like shades. And then give the Winter Soldier a Hydra shadow. I turn it sideways so it's easier to see the whole thing. Sorry it's still kinda hard to see, but I draw a silhouetted skyline of some of the well-known buildings in DC where the film takes place. And parallel to those, I draw helicarriers. Zoom in closer and I draw Black Widow and Sam Wilson, who are some of our side characters in this. Over here, I draw Captain America fighting the Winter Soldier. Add on an explosion and rubble to the helicarrier. And now I draw the Hydra scientist Zola in his computer consciousness form. And Rumlow on the other side. And then I draw Bucky and Captain America again, but this time with Cap refusing to fight his brainwashed friend. I draw flames behind DC to symbolize, well, things being a bit of a mess with Hydra infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff. I switch around a few things in the background to where I think they'll fit better. And I draw little Pierce and Fury figures, which are kinda hard to see when zoomed all the way out. Adjust a few more things, and there we go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the drawing, and I hope I'll see you again. In the meantime, remember not to go and join Hydra. Ciao!